Sometimes I smoke, and like the truth, I face it. I inhale my procrastinations and get back to the basics. My vision isn't always clear. And I am scared of getting LASIX because if I live in this reality, I'll become content with the matrix. Sometimes I smoke to remind myself I'm still alive. That's why I don't mind blackening my insides with failed aspirations and swallowed pride. Breathing gets harder, especially when you got reasons to provide. So if I'm ever met with a stumble, somehow I learn to keep in stride, trying to get life back on track. It's like these hurdles come back to back, and in this whitewashed world, getting dirty money makes me black, but it is a fact that I was brought here as property. And with no possessions, awkwardly, I've assimilated into this pyramid scheme called democracy. That's why I often draw a blank. I mean, it's hard checking in spaces. When voting for a rat race, the desire for cheese can get tasteless. Give me extra inspiration and fill my pockets with freedom. Give me a liberty that contrasts the history class's teachings. Show me pages that look like me before the servitude. Or let me tell the people of the crimes that gave the 1% the altitude, because ears are starving for the truth. And 106 is all out of food. They make our ignorance fuel an industry as our image grows more crude. Each day we live for a truth that never had us in mind. All men created equal. As long as the vision is dollar signs, there are tons of black issues. But it's like we can't vibe on the one fact that we were royal commodities that made America thrive. And I realize this don't sell CDs, but maybe it could charge some unity. Maybe it can open up the bars and stop making the penitentiary our community. If we are refugees, then give us diplomatic immunity. Let us pursue degrees with equal job opportunity, because Mormon and more men try to wipe the mark of Ham off their people. But they can never stop the rain that watered the root of all evil. We still rock whips and chains because it feels good to embrace our regal. But when it's our skin versus the board, everything's separate and unequal. So desperate are the people. Where I'm from, disrespect is lethal. So I've come to realize that the nation doesn't want a civil rights sequel. They'd rather have you fight for the person instead of live for the people. Have you die for a country that has always been deceitful? Disease-filled blankets to tuck you into your anguish. They build laws against you and prisons when you get angry. So we walk around with guns, drugs, and all that same stuff. Because this is America. Being a black man, it's dangerous. I am the representative. I represent every Negro, nigger, and nigger, every black man gunned down by a white or black man's trigger.
I represent the child in the home, learning lessons taught by Tigger.
I represent the child in the street, learning only from the figures.
I represent every woman that was deprived of her child.
I represent every deadbeat dad who never got to see their smile.
I represent every fugitive that's face is on file.
I represent every innocent man that was wrongful put on trial.
I represent the anger and the hostility.
And the pain.
I represent the pots not only used to cook,
but also those pots used to catch rain.
I represent the happiness, the almost.
And the sorrow.
I represent the brother who spends more than he borrows.
I represent the 5 fingers on a right hand that make a fist. I represent the city's population when the ballots happen to be missed.
I represent the old, the young,
the new.
I represent every animal that is caged in a zoo.
Although I am not an animal, my species is still caged.
Whether the chains are platinum or the food is minimum wage.
I see the bars were too noticeable and the whips were too active.
So they gave us glass to see out of, but we still remain captive.
And there are no leaders in this group because they all have been taken away.
We have 2 zookeepers, the FBI and the CIA.
So even though your cage is big and there are no problems where you live,
take a look beyond the glass and you'll see me.
The representative. I rise like the sun and I fall like the leaves. I see that you are all caged, and in my words you'll find the keys, for I am standing straight up, and I can see beyond the trees. So allow me to help you up, because we are still on our knees. I will represent you all.
From the big to the small.
From the short to the tall.
From the unjust to the law.
All my money has been spent, and in my pockets I have lent. I'm trying to be a Fred Hampton.
Not the first Black president.
The government is corrupt, and I do not want to be the speaker.
I want to be the revolutionary, the student and the teacher.
I want to be the choir, the congregation, or the preacher.
I want to be front page news, not some historical feature. I have my hands on the glass and I can see past the tent. I will one day free you all because I refuse to relent. I am ready.
I am willing.
I am able.
This condition is in perfect mint.
So while you're sitting and waiting,
I am ready to represent.
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 I am ready to represent. Good evening, pronouns and preferences. Tonight, your entertainment will be required by the representatives of the unseen.
Seems like virtual rooms are the only places we come off non-threatening.
Are non-threatening.
Do you see us? See us snapping? See us smiling?
See us dancing.
See us growling.
See us crying.
See us trying.
See us. Do you finally see us? Here in the virtual walls of this illustrious institution? Or do you see us in your prisons? Do you see us in your nightmares? Do you see us in your music? Do you see us in your morgues? Or do you see us out here juggling for survival? A constant cycle of ups and downs, a mix of smile harder or work harder or receive less, code switching because the world is a stage and my lack of performance could have me X'd. I haven't been able to find Black boy joy. Too busy juggling this survival, this constant cycle of ups and downs, where if I ever dropped the ball, I could be found dead or broken or guilty. Smile harder, nigga. Work harder, nigga. Stop asking for breaks. Ain't no breaks when you Black. And if you ever drop the ball, the audience filled with white faces will never let you pick them up ever again.
When you woke up this morning, you were Black. Been that way since you started to remember. The first time you were Black, could you tell me? Would it be an innocent memory of kindergarten when the lighter skinned peer said,
Ew, is your skin dirty or something?
did that make them half dirty? Would it be the first time someone outside of family called you nigger? When did you realize you were Black? Was it in grade school when your whispers were the loudest? Singled out for disrupting class, suspended more times in 1 year than the years you've spent on earth? Was it in middle school when the crush you had was the prettiest girl, but you didn't know she was white until you told your mother? Was it when your mother told you,
It's snow bunnies in this house?
when did you realize you were Black? Remember some vague image, bow-legged, diapered self looking in the mirror, unaware of melanin's traits, but could see the contrast between your action figure's skin. Remember being followed in the store? Watched like a sitcom as you calmly walked to the register? Remember being policed while driving, or riding, or walking, or standing, or sitting, or do you remember the first time you were Black? Me too. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
All right now. Calm down. Calm down now. Thank y'all for having me this evening. I want to talk to you about war.
What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing, my brothers. This evening, I want to talk to you about the soldiers of war.
All right.
Preach.
All right.
Talk to
Come
him.
on now. Come on now.
Come on.
He's on
You,
it.
born into silos blackness, burdened beast, duty to serve in war, drafted by complexion, deemed soldier, warrior, all based on your pigment's obligation. This call forward is not your fault. This conflict was waged before the first of you were robbed from the cradle of your civilization, for it has always been your backs on which freedom is carried. For it has always been your blood. Your liberty is enforced. For it has always been your resistance that has toppled institution. It is in you that the future of Black destiny resides. In you, the will of the people is exercised. All powers that would see Black life reduced to servitude know that you are sleeping, and they scared you'll wake up.
All right.
Come on now.
Wake
They
up.
don't hear you, Nip.
Speak on it.
In you, they are defeated, covered, made unseen. Black, you are a soldier bred unto war. Your first words will define the enemy. An enemy with no face and no voice. An enemy only defined by a feeling of constant otherness. Yet you are existing, surviving, fighting aimlessly, never knowing what direction to fire your weapon in. You will witness your brothers fall victim to this invisible threat. You will be angry, confused, but remember, you are existing within racist, faceless policies, silent, deadly, discriminatory practices. This enemy will promote self-loathing, and they will cut any leader that tells you the coordinates to your salvation. And I know, brothers, I know, you just want to go back.
I just
I
want
won't
to
go
go
back.
Come on now.
Amen.
Come on, man.
Amen.
Before you knew there was a war outside, before you were the soldier of an adopted war. And the only reason you haven't given up yet is because defeat looks too much like death. Okay, class, let's settle down now.
Hey, Boomin,
What's up?
bro. Please tell me that you sent that note to that girl finally, bro.
Yes, sir.
And I know you a smooth ass brother. So go ahead, bro. Just tell me what you told her, bro. Just go ahead and lay it on me.
So I wrote her and I said, I wonder if I could take a second. I promise I won't waste your time, but I ain't never seen a body that has such a beautiful mind, not to mention you fine, but I'm sure you know that. I'm over here taking mental pictures like my eyes say Kodak, but I took your time for a reason. So let me get to the point. The name's Love. And would you like to attend this poetry joint? See, the last time I came in, I made a bet with a stranger. I said, next time I come, I bet you I'll bring an angel. And I know that the bet can cause some type of suspicion, but you're the only girl I can find that fits the description. I'm not trying to go out with your marriage hand. Just trying to see if I can go on a date with your minute hand. No minute, man. Time is money. And when it comes to you, you can have all the money I got, plus the pennies too. All the nickels and dimes with you, I'll gladly spend my time. Your clock's too wound up, baby. Let me help you unwind. Thank you for giving me a second to explain how I feel, because I ain't never met a woman that can make time stand still.
Boy,
Did I do that?
Bruh, you too smooth for me, bro. I know for a
Perhaps
fact.
you'd like to share that with the class.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
A little boy raises his hand to ask a question in a history class where America was the lesson. The teacher points to him and says, "What would you like to ask?" The little boy stands and slowly faces the class. I have a few answers, questions that I hope you can answer, and these questions are spreading like revolution's cancer. Why create a Bill of Rights, then make patriot laws to deprive any person that they like? Why suspect an Iraqi exposed in a valley, then turn around and approve the local KKK rally? Why say terrorists are destroying a great plane, then turn to another country and do the exact same? Why spend billions on war and have billions of people considered to be poor? Why judge homosexuality, but don't even practice true religious morality? Is Lady Liberty wrong? Why can't we find the proof? Does America make us cover up our hearts so it can't hear the truth? Is this really the best country and yet worse at the same time? Does financial segregation inspire a need for crime? Do the poor rob to feed? Are drugs the only sale? Why do the rich sleep inside of houses and the poor inside a jail? Why is this country this way? Is it just a strange coincidence? Is killing thousands of people just an unfortunate incident? Is this country a free land? If social economics is biased, am I a free man? The little boy sits down and turns his back to the class. The teacher regrets ever asking him to ask. Because in a history class where America is the lesson, the textbooks will lie. So always ask questions.
Hey. So you know tomorrow's the 4th of July, right? Nigga, fuck the 4th, you hear me?
Whoa. I heard they send people to Guantanamo Bay for talking like that.
Hey, that's beyond me. I can't worry about it. Look here.
A 4th of July poem is supposed to be intense. It should celebrate our freedom and glorify our independence. It should hold the nation in reverence and respect and fun. But my experience with liberty is limited, and I only see freedom for some. So our freedom is now changed, and independence disguised. Freedom comes to those with money, independence priced with lies. America fought for freedom and left the British in the dark. But America was hypocritical once freedom would start. They start up new venues, slavery abolished, but Jim Crow helped it continue. A few decades passed with the goodness about the people, because Plessy versus Ferguson made everything separate and equal, followed by times of great tensions. Riots from east to west, with the verdict with the brown from the board was read by the rest. More decades would pass, and then there's this feeling of now we're truly free, but those same people pay no attention to what's going on their TV. And the Black youth don't notice the bars that they're behind. Bars of self-consciousness, bars of confusion, bars of anger, bars of time. It's not their fault that they was put on this root of evil. Liberty must be down to earth. These problems are unseen, unknown, and unconfronted. Americans die in countries where they're not even wanted. We will choose to deny this. And some of you will look at me strange, but y'all choose to stay trapped while I choose to make a change. So while the airplanes begin to soar and the fireworks begin to fly, we celebrate our independence. But I know a fourth of the textbooks lie.
Boy, I'm on you, man. Boy, your pants so small, man. You look like you got them off of Buddy Lee, dog.
Dude, your pants is so faded, they the same color as my beard.
Man, your pants is so tight, I can see Thomas Jefferson on the nickel in your pocket.
Little pants, bro, and them damn shoes. Oh my God.
Oh,
Them shoes.
I must be covered in ugly, a recess reject. They always called me dusty, laugh, and start clowning my clothes. I must be crusty, wearing the souls of black folks. That's why they judge me. And the fashion police don't never help. They always rush me in my wardrobe, bringing attention to my flaws while screaming.
The hell are those?
But I know that God brought me into this world without shame. On me for having doubt dressed in my birthday outfit and my name. Who made you hate your frame, pinhead? I've been rolling in a deep bargain bin trying to find something better to clothe myself in because my leaves have got to be better than eaves. So let light be upon him who flaunts the flyest feathers, from name that brand to branding those whose brands aren't better than my man's, keeping up with the tethered trends like back at it again. I'm back at it again with a black outfit outlook that could outwit anybody who thought effort wasn't the output. But I've been a king in K-Swiss ever since my mother paid less for admission to a shoe carnival. She said those prices save stress, but while she was penny pinching, I was steady defending how I dress. To those I tried to befriend, it was y'all I was trying to impress. I said, Ma, if you want me to be the president, then it would have to be Air Force Ones that I was stepping in. I'm trying to be fly, mama. First class when I'm boarding. But you never bought me Jordans. Thank God you never bought me Jordans, because kids have dreams in the ghetto like the toys built by Geppetto, dressed in the strings of his pedagogy. Their need to satisfy never settles. So what superlative will we get? Most likely with success, or will we win the most coveted crest of best dressed marionette? My mother's priorities could barely protect the high school outcast with an outfit that was outdated at best, who traded in expensive clothes for verse and prose that impressed. And now I know that all I need is this birthday suit to be a king in K-Swiss.
It's a scientific fact. At the barbecue, the chiffon sweet sun touched me, and I felt so fruit punch. It's a scientific fact. A gathering of Black people is called a flamboyance. Under the pavilion, Aunt Maddie poured a pitcher of lemonade. Her bright dress billowed in the language of flowers. And Lil Eddie threw a frisbee, and Trey broke away from his homies to catch it and send it flying joyfully back. And Jordan, who once said he wouldn't ever have any gay friends, compliments the canary yellow manicure on Slim. Slim, who is all boy and then some, who was shoulder pad clad and bad, who stayed in the best light taking selfies like everything the light touched was his. And it was. It's a scientific fact. I'll spend today being history Code switching is my everyday jam. On the Kentucky wind, my wig is marvelous, marvelous. My body well-versed in walking quickly and non-threateningly. My friend takes an Adderall to feel less anxious before the protest. Congratulations on being Black another day. For getting out of bed. For not letting the dream of knives hanging from trees keep you hanging your head. It's a scientific fact. Beyonce appears on a dark horse in the moonlit field of my mind. She gives me a new word for justice in the language of fire. It's a scientific fact. Breonna Taylor. It's a scientific fact. I feel most Black when I hear Al Green. I just came here to make a fashion statement, strut with rib slick wrists and nonchalantly check the time. Do you like my boots? My bag? How political my body can be when it's draped in chiffon. Humanity evolves in the degrees of a chokehold. I feel most productive when I wear tiger's eye. I feel most Black when I go anywhere. I feel like straight white men could never. It's a scientific fact. I face a heightened risk of fatal violence just because I be doing me. Like these Black folks with rib tips and swordfish, alive and breathing and making sounds loudly and dancing. These, my people, pushing revolutions from each hip shake, shook to hear no sirens, shook to see no Karens or permit patties, just a flamboyance of Blackness, beacon brightening, flaming bustle, Black boy and his catalog of noises, queer boy and his Black catalog of flames.
Well, Junie was out playing with DeMonte one day, and DeMonte hit him hard, and then he ran away. Junie came home with tears in his eyes, and I said, boy, you better not cry. So I popped him a couple of times. It really wasn't much, but that's what you got to do to make your kids tough. And I told him, now you know what you got to do. Yeah, you got to go hit that little nigga twice as hard as he hit you. And if DeMonte gets tough and wants to play rough, tell him your daddy don't take that stuff. He can go get his mama, his daddy, his uncles, all the others. I'll go right through them like a hot knife through butter. And I don't care what none of y'all got to say, because my son ain't gonna be no punk today. They grow up mean and they can grow up fast. And as his daddy, I gotta do my job. Every chance I get, I give him the ride, because you know what they say, that's the word of God. And I taught him, if somebody's messing with you, you beat their ass, like I do you. And I really don't care what none of y'all got to say, because my son ain't gonna be no punk today. So I was hard on him. So by the age of 15, people knew Junie was pretty damn mean. Don't mess with Junie. They got that part right, because I taught my son how to scrap and fight. And then one day, just for fun, I showed him where I kept my gun. It's in my drawer under the rolled up socks, and I don't very often keep it locked. So one day, Junie was down by the school, and these older niggas was acting a fool. And Junie, I raised him right. These dudes didn't know what they was in for that night. Because see, it don't take much to make Junie mad. See, I guess he gets that from his dad. And all those times when I beat his ass, it makes him boil over extra fast. So Junie, he wasn't gonna play, and he damn sure wasn't gonna run away. And I don't care what y'all got to say, because my son ain't gonna be no punk today. So they pushed him around. They called him some names, but that was enough to get his brain in flames. And even though he knows how to box, all he could think of is what was hiding in the socks. So he ran home to get it, and he hurried back with it. But what Junie didn't know is some of these dudes, they daddies had taught them that same bullshit too. When Junie got back, the dudes was ready. They was quick, they was strapped, and their aim was steady. It really wasn't much of a fight. Blam, blam, blam. 3 bullets, and Junie stopped breathing that night. But I still don't care what y'all got to say, because my son, he ain't no punk today. And that's how the story goes. It might sound like somebody you know, but no, this story really isn't true. I just made it up to explain to you that it's like a disease that has infected, or a poison in our boys that we've injected. So many lives have been affected that I have to wonder, has our common sense been totally disconnected? Because I don't know why we let that one little word have the power of life and death. But just scan the courthouses, the prisons, and the graves, and think about how many lives could have been saved had it just been okay to walk away and let them be a punk that day.
Black boy joy versus a black man's rage. Such a combination of words, which is kind of funny because, to be honest, it doesn't make sense. I mean, let's break it down. When I really think about it, joy, a feeling of great pleasure and happiness, it's kind of a fleeting thought. I mean, when you pair it with 402 reasons of master's good seasoning and conditioning, I'm tired, folks. For the most part, my joy comes from the things that I've bought, like well-made chicken sandwiches with cheese and fries extra crispy with mediocre service that comes complimentary with the fish that offends most people. And then all things become smooth again. Cooler heads prevail. Stupid choices are made. That's nice, I guess. We all make sacrifices. We all make really, really stupid choices, but we all learn from them. That's nice, I guess. I struggle with how to navigate my daily existence to avoid life or death situations. I don't want to be killed in a moment of racism in a vacuum. Like, I got shit to do. I don't want to be a martyr for this generation's next movement. I want to be famous. I don't have to be rich though. I mean, I just want a nice home and a few chips with some good sex with all my ducks in a row, V formation. Don't they say what's good for the goops is good for the gander? But when the world done clip my wings, I guess I'm just an angry bird. How am I supposed to fly with bad credit? Because I like stuff, and 2-day shipping runs the world, and OnlyFans is the only 401k plan. I am constantly playing the role of the safest man in the room, all 6'6", 300 some odd pounds of it. I'm angry on the inside, but non-threatening on the surface. Hulk smash. I'm angry. I admit it's hard. I can't even find black boy joy nowadays. I need to do more digging because the black boy needs joy. The black man finds fear. The black boy needs love. The black man finds shame. The black boy is misunderstood. The black man maintains. The black boy feels lost. The black man finds change.
So finding joy is deeper than being gifted a new toy. You know, it's one that can keep you quiet, but yet it doesn't make too much noise. It's that peace in your smile, the lack of rush in your routine, even though you may not even be here for a while. It's the cross-country journey, but it still makes you appreciate every mile. But that's just joy. You know, the American dream, the joy anyone can have, but black boy joy is based on America's reality, a concept not just anyone can grasp. It's the simple wins in our major battles that make us move in boulders. I mean, in the heat of war, y'all judge us for being colder, but never colder than America's shoulder. Now we have, you know, come to avenge for revenge. I feel like we some winter soldiers, and finding black boy joy, you know, I just feel like it's the beauty in the searching. I mean, you'll find it while you in school, but it's not part of your textbook version. Finding black boy joy is smiling in our dreams, even though our heads hurting. Every night from working a job just to not see our bread working in our favor. Finding black boy joy is being pulled over, even when sober. license, registration, hands in sight. You know, those phrases they play over and over. But when that, when that shining light hit your dark skin, and then that failed turn signals the K9s and the narcs. Finding Black Boy Joy is just being able to come home to tell you that part. The shit's hard. White people tell you, don't judge a book by its cover, but then they treat every darker color like just another other. And finding Black Boy Joy is just being happy in the midst of the noise that loves to silence our little boys. 3 bangs, our mother's in pain. We can't bring them back. But finding Black Boy Joy is having our funeral procession take up 3 lanes just so the highway can remember his name. Finding Black Boy Joy is drawing the short stick, even if it's a stick figure. Your mama still hang it on her refrigerator because it's still her favorite picture. Finding Black Boy Joy is dancing on the steps of the Capitol with signs in all capitals, arguing social media facts with the actuals. Finding Black Boy Joy is a behind the scenes job. That call center worker who got to take the deep breaths in between calls. But the difference between Joy and Black Boy Joy is we see y'all.
A riddle. What looks older when it's young and younger when it's old? Blackness has been a gift and a curse. The best and the worst situation you could find yourself in, like being rich in a hearse. Blackness is the result of a verse from Pythagorean table made popular, where this Greek philosopher made a list of various opposites like finite versus infinite, person versus people, rest versus motion, good versus evil. The latter was made popular in Western culture because its connection with light and dark helped to bolster their pre-racist thoughts to their enemies to the South. If light means good, then we know without a doubt that their blackness is wrong. In fact, it's a strong indicator that we should be the eliminators of this cloud. We lighter peoples must cast away this shroud of darkness from which civilization has spawned. Europeans' metaphor for racism was born. Good versus evil leads to light versus dark leads to white versus black, which led to genocidal hearts, subjugation presuppositions, like God's blessings were stark, and Africans were then cursed and got left off the arc of human history. Blackness became synonymous with mystery, to the point where most of us don't remember the black origins of our antiquity. The one pigment that I've been identified with since birth is the same pigment of all the indigenous people of this earth. But this black skin has been blacklisted in this very black days. Blackballed in a black box with black weather on our black face. Our outlook is pitch black, seen through black eyes given by black jacks who saw black heads as blemishes like the scars on black backs. It's hard to breathe with these black lungs. The cops shoot at us like black bucks. Arrest the strange low-hanging black fruit. We must be the black apples in the bunch. Did envy give them black hearts? So they went to get black guns from a blacksmith on Black Friday to put the black plague on the run. Our black music couldn't help us. Our black beauties died tragic. Black thoughts over black radio is how we cast our black magic, like bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Black boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? So let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see. Well, I remember one December after working in the winter on my way home, driving like Usain was in the engine. I was staying in my lane on the highway. I was sprinting, job burned out my flame like it rained on the Olympics. Trying to be homeward bound like 2 dogs and a kitten. So I'm in a rush more than the president's assistant, driving 30 miles over. I admit, I was tripping. Car was made in '04, sold the chip, went to the Pistons. Driving down to 64, saw some lights inside my vision. Started having flash forwards of a life inside a frizz. So I pulled over like the sweater I was wearing. Cool. Thought about the conversation that I never had in school. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see. So I'm sitting patiently waiting for the start of the investigation. Already pulled out my license, reached for my registration. Took them 10 minutes to get to where my shadow was shaking. I could probably take my shot and pull off, but he'll start the chasing. He'll probably start the hating, lying all in his statements, saying that he feared for his life in all his statements. Just leave my ass on the pavement for the news to capture every clue. So I chill and keep my hands right here at 10 and 2. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue. Let's talk about what to do when you see red and blue.
Fuck the police. Yeah. Now everybody can go ahead and stand back as I exercise my free speech. Most of y'all say, fuck the police until you're saved by one. My mother gonna ask me.
How could you say fuck the police when you were raised by one?
Look, Mom, that's cool. And I know Dad once had a badge, but nothing's new. But last time I checked, they're not even together. So I'm assuming you was like, fuck him too. When I was 7, I took my dad's handcuffs, placed myself under arrest. I mean, I used to be so obsessed with bulletproof vests. Me and my brother, we would just argue and take turns over who gets to wear it next, hit each other in the chest. You know, Kevlar so heavy, we worked out with it on a pile of rifles in the attic, 50 caliber rounds in the garage, box of bullets by the washer. You know, it's just another dad on the job. I've seen street cops turn to detectives, get well respected with no help. And then I've seen the badge they used to cover his heart move down to his belt. I've inherited interrogation tactics, manipulation, magic. So when I'm looking for the answer, they always tell me I can have it. Yes, I was raised by a wolf, but I keep company with rabbits. Where running from the pack isn't just an instinct, it's a habit for survival. So don't criticize me. When it comes to belief in authority, I mean, I know what it's like to have your dad called away in the middle of the night. And in the morning, you late for school because your daddy nowhere in sight. He gets hurried by the job. He gets hurried by me. And then he's more worried about the job than he worries about me. So fuck the police. And that blind bitch justice too. I can't even recall all the injustice that justice has put me through. So I could say fuck the police to 911 over the phone. Because while y'all was just scared of the police being outside, imagine having one of them niggas in your home.
Black officer, how long will you be in the house? Because us field playing folks was wondering if you could talk to the master about his cruelty. They lynched your brother the other day. Didn't you see his body swinging from the viral, reposted on webbed window in the attic where they keep you, black officer? Do you know where the origins of your profession come from? Your chosen career path started as a lie and weight game to catch your cousins on the run. You have never been more than a private property patrol for hire. That's why you stand in front of that bank that we just set on fire. And I bet they denied your loan too. Black officer, could you please ask the master why they killed your sister? She always said, yes, sir, and yes, man, never raised her voice or her hand, except that last time she declined the master's advance. Black officer, could you please stop turning the whip on your family? The master said they must be punished, but do you even know why? Are you leading people to the furnace because politics would rather them die? Black officer, did you know that the Nazis had Jewish cops too? Y'all probably would have got along. They were also into starred badges and cuffs. Black officer, when you look in the mirror, do you see black or blue? A civilian or civil servant with no civility in your servitude. You must not know the numbers. In prisons, over 50% in there for nonviolent offenses. Over 50% of mothers and fathers and sons and daughters being ushered into a system that only solves more problems, and you escort the criminals to the noose. How does that feel, Black officer? How do you see all the people that look like you being killed, yet still hide behind that shield of authority? Black officer, have you read the new Jim Crow? Do you know how private prisons grow? Is your consciousness redlined like the neighborhoods you patrol? Black officer, when you see us across that perimeter line, do you make excuses for your position? Like, hey, I'm just trying to make a living. But forget that you're building your provisions on a system that was financed by locking Black folks into prisons. Could you stop telling people how not to be shot? Instead, oust and expose your murderous fellow cops. Black officer, are you really fighting crime or a rich man's war? Do you feel the same anger when you being followed in the store? Are you being turned away when you try to buy a house? Are you like the rest of us who are in debt and living check to mouth? Black officer, how long will you participate in the oppression of the poor? Because us field playing folk, or we about to burn the big house down, and we don't want you inside because we love you. Sincerely, all your family out here without riot gear. I can be honest, y'all. It's been really hard finding Black boy joy in America. Our relationship with this country has been abusive. We've been spanked, whipped, beaten, and molested. And during all this chaos, it makes me wonder where our mind goes in the space between words.
Didn't I tell you not
to ever daydream during discipline? See, that's your problem now. You're never listening, and you embarrass me every time we're in public. You are the subject of my anger when we are in front of strangers, and I'm starting to think you covet my temperament. You must like seeing me act out. You like seeing me strain. You like hearing me shout and call you out your motherfucking name, because why would you act so demented? Like I'm raising some animal. They ain't got no senses. That's why I beat you senseless, because things never change. Just let me finish my sentence, and we'll get back to the game.
Didn't I tell you not?
To run away from this plantation, boy? White man rule this nation, boy. You're better off taking this whooping and going back to your station, boy. This whip here was made for bulls. I shipped it all the way from Italy, so I'm about to whip you like a bull. Please excuse the simile on my face. 32 lashes for the 32 teeth I used to pace. I know I only got 7 now, but looks won't win this race. You're lucky we let you live long enough to lift this cotton. You're a strong stock of slave, so we won't put you in a coffin, but you're gonna learn your place. I promise.
Didn't I tell you not?
To be a little pussy? You over there crying like some cookie. I raised you to be a man. If your mother was alive, she would be ashamed of your punk ass stance. You probably think you can take me, shrimp. You want this picture of your mother back? You think you can make me pimp? Ain't no other man here but me. And as long as you live under this roof, you better knock out them chores before I knock out a tooth, you little sissy. You a girl. You like panties. Tell the truth. I bet you like niggas too. All in your mouth.
Didn't I tell you not?
To tell anybody about us? Remember, it's a secret, and you could get in a lot of trouble if you decide not to keep it. I believe we're like family, so don't worry too much. It's okay. Family that love each other always touch in this way. I am a gentleman, and your silence is required if I am to be gentle with. Do you remember the last time you shouted SOS sentences and had to fall down the stairs? Every time someone asks you about your injuries, just stay in a child's place and act as an adult would. I'm not trying to hurt you. Plus, doesn't this feel...
Not.
You.
Hell.
I.
Didn't. I wonder where our mind goes in the space between. Now, I know my name is mentioned in circles filled with more squares than Steve Urkel's shirt. He wore glasses and was called a jerk, but he had emotional Teflon. And I could get inside a rap booth and easily turn to Stefan, but I wouldn't give up my smarts. I can never give up my smarts. It's an intelligence that sees the S-M in front of my art only stands for stop mentioning creativity in the classroom. We teach them towards a test that would rather have them clean the bathrooms. We standardize the individual, so this nation that's indivisible will play God and claim those who fail to conform to be criminal. We put them at the lowest tier of education. We challenge less and suspend more. We make them check black at the beginning, so we know when to use our red pen more, but I switch channels, and I ask the panel for their opinion. Because all I see are reality shows with black folks locked in a prison as if black is not all the colors of the prison. It's just a 2-day description. Louisville is known on First 48, starring the killer and the victim. You can get popular off of both. The second one isn't recommended, because the only beef your family got is how much it costs for your tombstone to be printed, $15 for each letter that's chiseled into your memory. $5 for the white tee your people wear religiously. They holler RIP at your final assembly, but it's priceless because you're lifeless and your mother gets paid sympathy. I had to turn Fox 41 off. I got to VH1 quick. I started watching Behind the Music of Louisville's Greatest Hits. There was a rapper. He said, in my city, we get money. But his ignorance is bliss, because the local news plays a marathon of Louisville's greatest missed, and I've been messed up about it. You can say I've been twisted, like that tornado hit, but double that death toll in my district. Where's our federal relief when there's a storm in these streets? When the norm is to compete while LMPD is striking at your feet, these kids are out here carrying hammers. But they just Vikings trying to eat. And they can never see the damage of the litter that they leave. Reduce, reuse, and don't recycle. These children that have created idols out of the monetary fantasies the nation holds with its title. It's hard to obey laws based on commandments from the Bible. So we get our revenue like slave traders used to, with a good hook and a rifle. It's never a good look when you got an eye full of premonitions that fail to fall into fruition. Constantly met with opposition because your skin pigmentation is different. I grew up looking suspicious, but as you can see, I don't mind it. I know it's a light inside the darkness. We just got to hug the walls until we find it.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Actors Theater of Louisville's presentation of Finding Black Boy Joy. It was curated, written by our very own Lance Boomin Newman. You did such a wonderful job curating this. Thank you so much to your cast members, Isiah, DeepSea Rice, Nipsey Green, and Mr. David Moore. You all absolutely killed it.
Killed
Man,
it.
how do you feel right now?
Oh, Good. I hope that a message was delivered.
Absolutely. I definitely think a message was delivered. Can you walk us through this collection of poems? Like, have you had these pieces for a while, or did you come up with some new ones specifically for this? Like, walk us through your process.
Yeah, well, when I first got the ask, I sat down and I wanted to do an anthology of sorts, or kind of like a replay of my life. I have poems. I started writing poetry when I was 13 years old. Started performing when I was 16, and my notebooks are many. So it was very fun to like sit down and like try to, you know, pick pieces to put in this play. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go from front to end. So that the first one, or the second one, the representative, that was the first poem I ever wrote when I was like 15 years old, being snuck into nightclubs so that I could do a poem, and then I had to leave with my mama afterwards.
Wow. Wow, it was absolutely amazing. You guys, all the donations that that are received tonight will go to benefit the Bail Bond Project along with Actors Theater. And so we're protesting right now. This is a movement, and everybody can't be down on the front lines. Everybody can't protest in the same way, but your donation could be your contribution to this moment. And so I want to try to get to at least $1,500 before we leave tonight. We have $1,155 right now. So can we get to at least 1,500 before we leave tonight? I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. We did not talk about this, but does anybody have a piece off the top of your head that you can give them just a little bit more? Lance, I know you do. Come on.
No, go Isiah. Go Isiah. Do it.
You got it, Isiah.
Everybody go on mute.
Okay. Sure, I have a piece. Well, you know what? The piece that comes to mind, I'm sure we all know Poetic Justice. And know it well. So I'm going to read a piece called Poetic Justice in Autumn, after one of my favorite movies, Janet Jackson, and Tupac. And it's kind of fitting for the times, I guess, too. Poetic Justice in Autumn. I lie beneath a beech tree. Above, a helicopter eclipses the porch's wind chime and chops the sky until it bleeds 8 p.m. The cops who beat Rodney King with a baton for 15 minutes are found not guilty. Tonight, the city will burn down to its ego. Even the crows perched on sneaker-strung telephone wires will riot, and I've been meaning to talk to you about Stevie Wonder. I've been meaning to talk to you about autumn, how its slow burning fade shifts the color in me too, how its orchard-laden tunnel to something colder becomes a parlor in which I exhaust my faith. I burn the ends of my box braids with a lighter, and 3 trees burnish themselves red gold. My mailman wants to smell my punani, but won't bring me my goddamn mail. I have Rottweilers I refuse to cage. Close up of my punani. Rain slick lily breathing in a field of celestial R&B. My mailman is a rapper and I ride with him to Oakland. Somewhere outside LA, hills roll like a homie. The apple orchard swells near the salt scuffed coast, and I mistake the hanging fruit for alternate versions of my heart. Heart crashing a family reunion because they're Black, and so am I, and my pussy is craving free barbecue. 2 honey buns and a big red. I kiss my box braids, bend them into sun-bleached violins. It's good to own something, even if it's just this hair I've been hiding under a black hat for 400 days. That's how long ago my first love went to the concession stand for jujubes and came back dead. Sweet talking Markel with a bullet in his head. I only went into work today to read my boss a poem. Goddess knows, with America on fire like this, she needed to believe in one.
Yes.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. I like that a lot.
Wonderful, Isiah.
That was hard. That was hard.
I'm gonna put some more of y'all on the spot, but before we do that, y'all be thinking about what y'all want to do. We are at 1,360. Let's try to get to 1,500. Donations will go to benefit the Bell Project in Louisville. So with everything that's going on with the protesting and this movement on top of the coronavirus, COVID-19, how are y'all feeling right now?
Definitely trying to adapt and be more innovative with the approach of how we work. Some of the folks in the cast have jobs, but I am a full-time artist, and when there are no more stages and no more clubs and no more places that we can be heard and seen, it's just really hard to try to figure out, you know, how to get into it.
Yeah.
Trying not to be a victim of circumstances.
Yeah. David, how are you feeling in this moment?
Well, I'm just kind of wondering what's next. You know, I think we have been very vocal about some changes, some systematic changes that we as darker skinned people would love to see. And we are making some moves that are being noticed in a lot of different areas. And I love to see that continue. But we also got this big scary thing over our heads, this pandemic. And I'm not sure that we all take it serious enough. So I'm just kind of wondering what's next and what the new normal is going to be. There's a lot of things up in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And theater as we know it is never going to be normal again. The live performances as we know it is not going back to normal anytime soon. And so we're grateful for platforms like this where we can come together online and we can still share our art. And it's amazing. And if COVID-19 were not happening right now, you would have had to pay a $10, $15, $20, $25, $40 ticket to see something like this. And so if you appreciated this work that Lance has put together, and then you all also wrote your own pieces within this collection, go ahead and donate. Give us some money, help keep the arts alive. We are at $1,565. Yes.
Yay!
Have to stop at 1,500. We can shoot for 2,000 next. So I want to come to Nipsey. You got a piece for us?
I do not.
Okay.
Honestly, this is my debut back into poetry. So
that's right. You did tell me that. But Deep, you're pretty new in the spoken word, right? Did I read that about
Fairly,
you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I still
you
feel
haven't
new.
been doing this very long. But
I've been performing consistently probably about 2 years.
okay. So do you have a piece that you can
I
share?
do.
Okay. We're ready to hear. Y'all don't have to turn your videos off. Just don't leave me out here by myself. Stay on the screen.
All right. My piece is called Black is Still Bright. If you have seen me at any of the protests, I've done it at 2 protests and the Cole's Juneteenth event. So those are the only places I've done the poem, unless you came over and let me read it to you. So it's still fairly new. White people, why do y'all hold all of traffic up for ducks? You get mad at people who are in the wrong season shooting bucks. But as soon as one of us darker skinned people say, what's up? Your phone, your purse, your keys, your guns is clutch in fear of one of us fucking you up, but it's your thoughts and your prejudice that leave us fucked up. Not to mention the ones we pay to save us, the ones that tote guns and gave up on trying to tase us. You being weak has our mothers being stronger than they've ever bargained for. The way you carelessly cause chaos when you charge through doors, you lock the man up for defending his own home, and you try to charge him for the body you placed in the morgue. We were slaves, told what to do, how, when, where. never why. For all hours of the day, never paid, then laid off just to be punished for not being accounted for. The hell you doing in this neighborhood, boy? I bet you play a sport, don't you? Or I bet you one of them that likes to rhymes with your vocals. Matter of fact, we'll kill you. None of my friends know you. We went from being private property to public property. Still never receive respect from locals. Is it our melanin that's got you meddling? Or you mad that we ain't suffocated from our suffering? You can't deal with the fact we can deal with whatever hand we dealt with without asking you to reshuffle them. We either black or we invisible. Even though every day we belittled by your bigotry, every black person's energy wants to reciprocate that energy. Y'all act like y'all scared of us, and we should be scared of y'all. And until y'all start checking each other on that racist shit, we don't think y'all care at all. Being black is something I would choose, but I never chose. One day I'm praised like my skin is gold, but when they see us at a hearing, all we hearing is case closed, case dismissed. They wonder why we get violent and we can only get our lips to form shit like eat my dick, because when we respectful, we still met with spit. Video clips of black bodies being lynched. But we viewed as a threat as soon as our fist is clenched, or as soon as my hoodie is up, or as soon as I'm jogging, or as soon as I'm leaving Kroger, Walmart, or Target, swallowing pride just to not become your target. Why do you aim at us with your targets? I thought the aim was to serve and protect. But who do you protect when you shoot first and nothing comes next? In the shows and movies, they always hear shit like, we need them alive and innocent till proven guilty. But how many black people make it to trial for crimes they allegedly committed? That answer will prove that our justice system is shitty. Multiple gunshots to a man who did nothing but record on live while he took you through the city. The shit got me wanting to go jogging with my glizzy. I hope one of y'all try me. I promise I'm gonna take one of y'all with me. And these black deaths, they got me feeling so empty. I'm upset. I'm numb to headlines. All I be is like, golly, man, another one. Every red line, we've been paying a tax our whole life just to have a tax placed on our lives. Justice for us is dead and we being killed on live. I know God may not show when you want him, but he is always on time. But God, if you listening, they counting down the moments to you return, using our bodies as tallies and chalk lines. Just to give you an outline, even after the shade from white people, we'll never be outshining. I know they hate it. They kill us all the time, but we'll never be eliminated. If I could sum it up and paraphrase it, don't mistake it. Pennywise, some of us may be some clowns, but even in the sewers, we will still make it. My black is still bright.
Yes.
Come on, Deep.
See?
We hear you, bro.
I
Hear you, bro.
Yes. Amazing. We are at $1,690.
Come on now. That's love. That's love.
Keep on donating, please, please, please. I know, Lance, I know you have a piece, but does anybody else? David, do you have a piece you want to share or no? And if not, I'm gonna let Lance come on and take us out of here.
I got a piece that I'll give a shot.
Come on. He's like, you know, yeah.
Come on, David. Turn that light on too. Let me see you, pretty man.
Oh man.
All that melanin.
This actually really happened, and some people who hear what I do, I like to sometimes do things about what really happened in my life. I could hear her yelling when I first pulled up in my car, and I'm pretty sure everybody else could hear her both near and far. She wasn't holding a damn thing back, and it made me wonder just who was under attack. She was calling them every kind of MF, even some that haven't been invented yet. This woman was really showing her butt, and you can tell that anger was boiling deep in her gut. And she had that real mean kind of anger, you know, the kind that makes you think, boy, somebody's in danger. And I didn't know what this person had done, but I sure hoped they knew how to run, because I was kind of afraid we might see a gun. And then out the apartment walked her 8-year-old son. Now, he couldn't be where her anger came from. She couldn't be talking like that to somebody so young. But she was right behind him, and she was still giving him some. And that's when I knew, yeah, he was the one. I never saw her strike him, so there was no physical harm, but this was definitely abuse in a verbal form. I saw the anger on his face as he walked out the door, but he wasn't crying or scared, because I think he's been here before. And he was taking it like a trooper. But what about his future? Who can take that kind of attack and not be able to strike back? I wondered, where were his tears and what were his fears? And is that the voice he'll hear as he goes through the years? And what will this mean to his self-esteem? And what about his dreams? Will her words clip his wings? It made me think of my own 3 sons and all the things that we had done to make sure they knew how much they were adored and that they were special and that they could soar. So I wonder what'll happen with this little man. Will he ever really get a real chance, or will he end up caught like so many others, trapped in a box made of bars of steel, or a box just in his thoughts without the ability or a key to unlock? I didn't know what to say or even if I should jump in, but I felt like this little man I needed to defend. I didn't know how it might end, but let me check my Bible because this must be some kind of a sin. But I didn't speak. I guess I was too meek. I guess I was too weak. I guess I thought their problems were way too deep. They say a village is what it takes, but there was no one else around to plead this little man's case. I looked around sadly, wondering where was his daddy and what was his role in the family, because they needed him badly. Now, it's easy to blame the mama because we don't know what else to say, and we might shake our head over what I witnessed that day. But we really don't know what other circumstances were in play. But am I guilty too, because I just got in my car and drove away?
Snap, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop, David.
Yes, David. Thank you all so much. I want to give a shout out to our executive artistic director, Robert Barry Fleming at Actors Theater.
Hey, Robert, we see you, bro.
Thank you so much for your vision. Thank you so much for allowing us to present this type of work that is representing the new direction that Actors Theater is going in. Thank you so much for that opportunity. I also want to thank the tech team behind my colleagues that are behind the scenes. Miss Sujata, Pace.
Yo, she killed it.
The slides and the sound today. Thank you so much, Sujata. Thank you to Philip. Thank you to Emily. Thank you to everybody at Actors Theater that are working behind the scenes and working to help make sure that Actors Theater stays around for a very long time. Thank you all so very much. We are at $1,715. Lance is going to take us out of here, but let's try to get to 1,800, okay? As Lance is spitting.
And I'm not going to just oh, I'm sorry, D. What did you say?
No, you good. Before I not get the chance, I just want to thank all y'all for having me and allowing me to be a part of this amazing thing. Because not only is it new, not only would I have done this with y'all in the crib without nobody seeing it, but it's something people need to hear. It's stuff that we believe in off the camera every day of our lives. So I just appreciate y'all letting me be a part of it.
Thank
I
you,
agree. Can I just say thank you all? It's been over 10 years since I even spit some poetry. So I thank you, brothers, and everybody, actors, everybody who's involved. You've been very pleasant. I appreciate just the opportunity to be able to just spit these bars again.
Piggyback on that, same. Thank you so much. Community is so important, especially now, and to have that even digitally. And with this brotherhood, I feel so seen. I feel so human. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I guess I'll add my thanks too. I was kind of shocked that Lance asked me to participate, but I don't think he knew anybody else with a white beard. So I got in there, but it was a lot of fun. And for people looking at this, I don't think you realize how hard it is to put something like this together. I've done a few little pieces in the past. But when you've got to be your own technical director, your own cameraman, your own scene guy, we're doing it safe. We're being social distance, but it's really harder than you might think. So
yeah,
thanks for everybody's help.
No, that's love. That's love, you all. I didn't choose you because your beard. I chose you because you are a good artist, and I respect your talent. But I will say, I do want to definitely thank my cast. Thank y'all so much for agreeing to do this. Thank y'all for being a part of this. And I want to thank Actors Theater. I want to speak to that new direction, right? You see, it's being acknowledged, right? This new direction that a lot of companies, a lot of organizations, a lot of groups are taking this new path where they are looking for voices that normally would not be heard. I do understand that the play that I put together kind of sounded like the angry black man, and that is because I am. I mean, I'm angry, and there's literally no outlet for that that I found other than poetry and creative writing, which is terrible, right? I mean, there should be so many other outlets available for me, but we've seen resources dwindle, and people, you know, it's sad that it took this concoction of COVID, this concoction of racial injustice, and this concoction of like hard economic times for us to realize and kind of see all the flaws and fault lines within our society. It's sad to see it because it took so long. We're in 2020, and there are far too many racists still here, right? So I'm grateful that Actors Theater is doing the work, you all. It's the work that is necessary, that people are scared to do, that people shy away from. It's the work of being anti-racist, right? It's the work of being knowledgeable about situations and different things. And it's also the work of being empathetic. You know, it's not hard to put yourself in somebody's shoes if you have an imagination, if you have a little context of their background. I think that the leadership in Actors is going to be innovative. I think that it's going to change how we're seen. If you all know, if you're from Louisville, you know that the spaces for Black art, or the spaces for Black creatives is next to nothing. And if you didn't know that, it's because you weren't paying attention, right? You didn't care. You didn't have a thought about where Black art can be found or where it can be seen. And now you find yourself looking for these things. And I believe that we as a community, as Louisville as a community, you know, we're the fourth most segregated. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but as of 2016, we're the fourth most segregated city in the nation. All right. Even if it's not that placement anymore, even if we're not fourth anymore, we're still in the top 10 of most segregated cities in the nation. And that is absolutely ridiculous, right? That is a shameful thing to be known about. And if you know that and aren't doing anything, it's just sad. So this last piece that I will do, you all, thank you for your donations, for real. The Louisville Bell group, you know, Bell is one of those things. It's one of those things in society that we don't think about, right? We see somebody Bell and they put up their house so that they can get out, but it doesn't work like that for many Black and brown people who just don't have those assets to put up. So it is, we are very grateful for your donations. Please know that. But this last piece I wanted to talk about, it's another Black piece. Get over it. You know what you tuned into. But it's about
coming
being
for Black
Black.
shit, go home.
Right. But it's about being Black in Kentucky. All right. Fun fact, there's just over 300,000 Black people in Kentucky, in the whole state. 300,000, not even a million. 300,000. And of that 300,000, 42.6% can be found in the Jefferson County area. So that means half of the Black people you can find around Kentucky are found in Louisville. Louisville is the nucleus for Black thought, Black creativity, Black enlightenment, right? So it just makes me wonder, like, who knew Kentucky had Black folk? Hidden like bricks of gold, from Pikeville to Mayfield, skin like the coal from Corbin to Maysville, we've always shared the same last name. Kentucky always shared the same twang and southern drawl that turned you all into y'all come back somewhere between the Appalachian Mountains and the Civil War. We found comfort in our bluegrass diaspora between the Appalachian Mountains and colored only water fountains. We found a way to endure. We planted baby seeds, that grew into family trees with roots driven into the ground as deep as complexion. We cut a section out the land and called it our own. The last stop on the freedom train, the Mason-Dixon was our home, and we have been here for generations. Jefferson County has always had the highest concentration. 44.2% of Kentucky's African descendants can find themselves nestled in the Louisville metro limits. So the Black experience in Kentucky saw the same discrimination, saw the same participation in the original sin of this nation, saw the same Jim Crow, saw the same segregation to where most of y'all don't know about Old Walnut and all of that sensation. But who cares about being Black in Kentucky? There's only 300,000 to date. No one wants to be Black in Kentucky when you never see your face in the state. So after this leaves and the turmoil all passes, y'all be chilling in y'all blue. But to me, it's the black grasses.
Thank you all again so much for tuning in. This has been a presentation by Actors Theater of Louisville, Finding Black Boy Joy, written by our very own Lance Boomin Newman. Y'all hang out in the room. Y'all hang out in the Zoom room. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. Peace, love, spread it. Spread love. Spread love.